Well, I'm at Hydrangeas Plus with Kristin, and Kristin, today we're going to be talking about some things to do in the spring to really make our hydrangeas exceptionally beautiful come summertime. So this one looks like it's leafing out. What is it, and what do we do right now with it?
Sure, this is, and thanks for bringing the sun.
Yeah, well, I do what I can.
Yes, that really helps. So this is a macrophylla. This happens to be one called Blue Danube. And unfortunately, I didn't get to pruning it this last fall. A little busy. So now is a good time for this particular cultivar and this particular family to cut off the old blooms that you may have forgotten to take off last fall. Maybe cut out some old wood that hasn't leafed out much at all or doesn't look like it's going to.
Because it really looks like, even right now, this looks like it was sheared last year almost the way it's growing.
Yeah.
So if you didn't do this, the first thing I would assume is you go in, you cut these back.
Correct.
How far do you cut them back?
Well, I always cut right above a leaf node. So
Okay.
if we go into one of, here's a nice good one. So I wouldn't cut back further than that.
Okay.
I'm just going to cut right here. This is a dwarf variety cultivar, so it probably isn't going to get much bigger. Slow grower, but I would take off all these old blooms.
And then if you did want it to be a bit smaller, you could go down to a lower leaf node.
Not many though, because
Okay.
remember these bloom on old wood.
Okay.
So you have to be careful because if you cut back too far, you're not going to get blooms.
Any
You'll
blooms
cut
at
off the
all.
blooms this year.
Nice.
So that's why I say don't go back too far. Maybe one leaf node, maybe at the most two.
Okay.
Serious pruning should be done in the fall
Okay. Sounds
on
good.
this macrophylla.
Now over here is one that's not leafed out as much, but it's starting to, which is
Yes.
this one.
This is Serrata. This is more of a Japanese variety. They bloom, believe it or not, they will bloom before that one does.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
This one is just now starting to leaf out. Maybe even not a lot of leaf on some of the cultivars. But again, you can see there's a couple bloom skeletons left, and so I would just cut those back and let the rest of them just grow
And
out.
does the same rule apply to the thing that's leafing out, the leaf node there?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, these bloom on old wood as well.
And then you just prune out. If there's a limb that's obviously dead, you can go ahead and cut that down to the ground.
Correct.
Because it looks like it's even coming up from the ground
Right.
too.
We just planted these last fall.
Nice.
So yeah.
Now
good.
you have one more variety. What is the variety that we're looking at next?
This is one that blooms on new wood. This is actually the paniculata varieties. So if you do want to take these down a little bit, these will get quite big.
Yeah.
So I would probably cut this one off just a little bit more than I would the other two varieties. But I usually try to wait until I start to see the green part. And so this one's
So this in this
good
variety,
time.
you could really almost prune to shape more so than the other ones.
Correct.
Because you don't have the restrictions for blooming
correct.
so much.
Because it'll bloom no matter what. So but I still cut above a leaf node.
Yeah.
And just do some shaping.
Nice. And if there happens to be an old limb in there, you can still cut, an old bloom, you can still cut those out
Right.
just to clean up.
Yeah.
Now, is this, there's a lot of conversations about how to make them blue, how to make them pink, all of that stuff, but really at the end of the day, this is the time that you want to be fertilizing too.
Correct, exactly.
So let's look at a few of the
Fertilize
things you got
or
there.
changing any color, the color of the hydrangeas. This is now a great time to start that process as well.
And what are the three that are here?
Well, we have fertilizer. That's just an all-purpose time-release fertilizer that will slowly break down over 3 or 4 months. This is a 10-8-8 or a 10-10-10, something with just like a balanced
So a good
nitrogen,
general
phosphorus.
purpose.
Exactly, and some trace elements. And then the next is the garden lime. Around here we have very acidic soil, and so if we want to keep your hydrangeas pink or red, we put down garden lime.
Okay.
And that's water soluble, so it would probably have to be put down a couple times.
Okay.
And then the last is aluminum sulfate for those areas that those hydrangeas just aren't quite blue enough for you. And you put that down about this time as well, and probably another application before they bloom.
Well, there's always a lot of questions about hydrangeas. What do we do with them? When do we do it with them? And so if you want to find some great answers, we can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website and get all of those questions answered for yourselves. Thank you so much, Kristin.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too.